But, we are seeing some things change very belatedly. I think that one of the big stories that came out is that, that Chinese companies that have been listing on the U.S. stock market for years have avoided auditing by the U.S. China, I think, was like the only country that was able to do this because they said, they couldn't open the books of these Chinese companies because they might have, state secrets. It might be tied to national security. And so Chinese companies just were not getting audited, but still being allowed to be on U.S. stock market.
For a while, they were getting audited by Chinese companies. And
we investigated ourselves.
Yes, exactly. And so that was just completely useless. But yeah, so recently the PCAOB, which is the U.S. regulatory branch that looks at this kind of stuff, has finally
no
reached...
idea how you remembered that acronym.
PCAOB, yeah, it's just, like the SEC, the FTC, the OCC.
I do have to say that the PCAOB is a little longer than the SEC. But
it almost sounds like an old school rap. The SEC.
You down with OCC? Yeah, you know me. Yes, I am down with the Office of the Controller of the Currency.
We brought it kind of back to Matt's dope comment in the beginning.
Yeah, that was dope.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Anyway, but they finally reached an agreement with Chinese authorities to supposedly have Chinese companies open all of their books to the PCAOB and U.S. auditors.
Yeah, which we'll see if they follow through. But just so people understand why this is so important, we use the example of Luckin Coffee. It was, a Chinese company. People thought it would be, the next Starbucks. Got a lot of investments, but they were lying about their sales. It was all a shamble. Huge scandals. American investors lost.
The stock collapsed, essentially.
Yeah. Boatloads of money were lost. And U.S. investors would not have been hurt if U.S. auditors had been allowed to look at the company's actual books.
Yeah, and I think also there's this whole thing about, there are multiple Chinese state-run companies that are listed on the U.S. stock exchange. We have no oversight or no knowledge about all of these companies, and we are pumping money and have been for years into these Chinese companies. And these companies have been able to come here, raise a humongous amount of money, and bring it back to China. And that money is not coming back out,
When the Chinese Communist Party was going through hard times, it was the U.S. carrying it on its back.
There you go.
That is true. I think that the people forget the original value of the stock markets, which is that people today think of a stock market as a place to park my money, to outpace inflation, or to make a profit. But at its core, the value of a stock market is for investors to be able to invest in good companies to help them grow, right? It's basically it's a fundraising mechanism where the investors are partnering with companies to help those companies succeed, right? And so now think about what we're doing if American investors are investing in Chinese companies which are competitors to American companies like Luckin Coffee, is we Americans are putting our money into a company to help it succeed in taking over the market from our own American companies. So to me, that undermines the real value of the stock market. And I'm not defending, the stock market has lots of problems, and this is one of them.
That's a very idealistic version.
It is an idealistic version of the stock market. And there's so many problems with the stock market, and there have been not just since China started getting involved, but since the beginning, right? Because generally when you start seeing problems in the stock market, it's because people stop looking at it as investing in companies to help them grow, and the valuation of those companies should be tied to their expected earnings, right? And then like you start to lose track of that and you get big bubbles, right? And that's what happens ahead of each crash because you lose track of the fundamental mission of the stock market. And this whole idea of having Chinese companies come in and list on the US stock market is already an indication that we have lost sight once again of what the core value of having a stock market is.
Think of how much money people can make.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Forget it. Yeah. Forget what I said.
I mean, Alibaba,
actually, it's a great opportunity to make money.
Nothing's bad's going to happen to Alibaba. Look at how huge it is in China. Of course, we should let it list on the U.S. stock market.
Hey, let me give you guys a hot stock tip. There's this Chinese company. It's called Evergrande. It's going through a little bit of a rough patch now, but don't worry. It'll be bailed out by the Chinese government. Everything will be fine. Triple your investment.
I don't think Evergrande is on the U.S. stock market, but a lot of U.S. investment firms have bought their bonds, which they are not going to pay back.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Well, but the bonds promise high returns, so like, of course, you want to invest.
I mean, that's the joy of a state-run economy. It's just you can make it do whatever you want.
Including
money printer go burr.
Don't pay the foreigners, I think, is the official position of the Chinese government on the real estate market. You got to pay you got to pay the government back. You got to pay the Chinese people back because without that, there would be riots, and then that would affect the stability of the CCP. But the foreign investors, screw them.
My favorite thing that came out this week about great communist money-making strategies was, since there is this real estate crisis going on, where companies like Evergrande, over-leveraged, they don't have the money to finish homes that they've already sold to people who now aren't paying mortgages on homes they can't move into because they don't exist, and all this blowing up, and nobody wants to buy homes, and people can't get mortgages. The Communist Party is telling party members to just buy more homes.
I mean, to be fair, it's local government officials. It's not like a central policy, but it is pretty funny.
Yeah, if you don't, that one official in
Hunan province.
Yeah, he said if you have one home, buy two. If you have two homes, buy three. If you have three homes, why not buy a fourth?
Yeah, there you go. It's especially hilarious. I mean, this is how the communist system kind of works. It's kind of like, well, the Communist Party officials, you have to go out and be the example for the, population, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to go out and buy homes, and that's going to make everybody else buy. That's totally how it works.
Yeah, of course, 5 or 6 years ago, the Communist Party was telling officials not to buy second homes because it was contributing to the real estate bubble.
Well, also because it is a pretty big sign of corruption if you can buy like 5 homes on a...
Buy 4 homes, just because.
Well, so 5 homes is corruption, but 4 is okay?
Well, apparently now 4 is the minimum. But
it's one more than what you have.
Yeah, yes, there you go. I mean, it is funny, though.
Buy N+1 homes.
Yeah, that's not as catchy somehow. But it is funny how, like you said, this was a huge sign of corruption, people having multiple homes, like Communist Party officials. This is like really bad. And now everybody's been told to buy out of the bubble.
We need your corrupt money to save the economy.
This hole we're in is so deep. We have to keep digging. No, dig up, stupid.
I mean, they probably have lots of cash in their 3rd home or 4th home. They could just take that out, use it to buy more homes.
Well, this is great because there's, the demographic crisis. They need more children. Party is pushing the 3-child policy. So if all these corrupt officials have extra homes, they can, they can get extra mistresses and have children with these extra mistresses, which means more children, which is exactly what the Party Central wants.
And the children will all grow up with healthy communist values.
Very well adjusted.
Actually, that just made me think, I wonder what happens to the kids of Communist Party officials and their mistresses if they exist. Because I was thinking about like
the hukou
and like household registration and all that stuff.
Yeah, like they don't really count as like towards the 1 or 2 or 3 child policy.
Yeah, I don't know how that works actually.
Although with plentiful birth control and abortions, Maybe they don't have as much of a problem with unwanted children.
Probably not. But remember that director, the guy who used to make movies like Red Sorghum, and then he went on to make movies
Zhang
like
Yimou.
Here. Yeah, he got in trouble a few years ago for having like multiple kids out of wedlock. Even after he had made all these patriotic movies for the CCP. Yeah, there was like a political scandal because of it.
You would think after making these, political movies, you'd be allowed at least one or two illegitimate children.
And they did for a while.
Well, I mean, but that's how it goes in any communist country. It's like no matter how good of a communist you are, at some point, your head could be on the chopping block.
There's always another purge.
There's always another purge, right? It's just like Robespierre. The one who's the most pro-revolution could end up with their own head on the chopping block or under the guillotine, as the case was.
A lesson for all of us and for you, dear viewers, for watching.